Hey everyone, Chef Lisa here with Revive Wellness and my Viva Plan. Today I am making tuna patties with lemon and dill. So sort of along the same lines as crab cakes, but we're using canned tuna instead, which is just really convenient, inexpensive, great source of protein. And this recipe comes together really quickly, so it's a really great weeknight meal option as well. So the first thing we want to start by doing is sauteing off some of our veggies. We have some finely chopped red onion and red pepper, as well as some minced garlic. Now, a couple different reasons why we're doing this step. The number one reason is that we want to drive off some of the natural moisture that's found in these vegetables. So if we were to skip this step, what would happen is later on when we go to cook the tuna patties, all that moisture would go into the tuna patties, and that sort of translates to sogginess, which we don't want. So we're going to saute these vegetables off to get that moisture out of them. There's of course the side benefit of some added flavor as well. So when all that moisture is evaporating out, you're just concentrating the flavor of these delicious vegetables, everything's softening up nicely and just really increasing the flavor profile. So two great reasons to do this step. So the first thing we want to do is heat up our pan over medium heat with a couple teaspoons of vegetable oil. Once everything is nice and hot, we want to add our onion and our red pepper into the pan. And then just cook that until everything starts to soften nicely and some of that moisture evaporates out. You want it to be essentially almost all of that excess moisture gone out of there. So that'll take anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. Feel free to adjust the temperature of your stove as needed if things are cooking a little bit too quickly and browning too much, which we want to try to avoid here if at all possible. So once that's done, we're going to add in our garlic. We're adding this last so that we don't burn it because there's a lot of natural sugar in garlic. So we're just going to cook that out for 30 seconds or so just to get that really sharp raw taste out of the garlic and just to sort of develop the nice fragrant aroma. So once that is done, turn off the heat and we're going to transfer all those vegetables to a heat-proof bowl or a plate and just let that cool off to room temperature before we are going to add it into our tuna mixture, which is the next part of the recipe. Okay, now we're just going to mix everything in our bowl here. So I have the tuna here that I've already squeezed all that moisture out of and kind of flaked apart into pieces. And we're going to add our vegetables that we sauteed and let cool. Get all that in there. I'm going to add some fresh chopped dill. Really recommend that you go with the fresh stuff here if you can. It adds a really nice flavor. If all you have is the dried stuff, you still can use that, but you need to use a lot less. So probably about 2 teaspoons maximum is all you'd need for this recipe if you're using dried. I have some mayonnaise as well as a little bit of Greek yogurt here. We're going to add that in as well. One egg to help bind everything together. I have some panko breadcrumbs. You can also use just regular breadcrumbs from the grocery store, or even fresh breadcrumbs might work as well. Some salt and pepper and a little bit of chili flakes for some seasoning. And some lemon zest. So this adds a really nice fresh flavor in there. I think we need about 2 teaspoons or so that ends up being about the equivalent of 1 lemon's worth of zest. Oh, it smells so good. You don't want to skip this. It really adds a nice aroma and flavor. Okay, so now we're just going to mix everything together. Probably could have used a larger bowl here, but that's all right. So at this phase, it's going to look a little bit crumbly. That's all right. Just want to get everything mixed together. Really nice colors in there, actually. So once everything is mixed together, looks quite crumbly, but what we're going to do now is we're going to transfer this to the fridge for about 15 minutes or so. So what that's going to do is it's gonna give the breadcrumbs a chance to soak up some of that moisture to kind of help everything bind together nicely. And it's also just going to help everything firm up so that when we go to form the patties, they're actually gonna wanna stick together instead of crumble apart. So that's gonna be the next step. Okay, let's form this mixture into our tuna patties now. So we have a couple different options here for portioning it out. So I recommend using either a measuring cup. I'd say 1/4 to 1/3 cup is probably the right size. Or if you have a portion scoop, that works as well. I think this one's actually somewhere between 1/4 and 1/3 cup, so perfect. And I do recommend portioning it out into equal sizes so that everything cooks evenly. So we're just gonna start scooping that, and you do wanna kind of pack that in pretty tight. And then just get that into the palm of your hand, and then you want to firmly you wanna cup your hand like that, and just sort of firmly form that into patties. So you do need to be quite firm when you press everything together, but you also want to be gentle at the same time because they can get a little bit crumbly, so you don't want them to fall apart on you. So that looks good to me. We're going to transfer that to a tray, and then we'll continue on with our mixture until they're all formed, and then we can cook them. To cook the tuna cakes, you want to start by heating a little bit of oil in a large nonstick frying pan over medium heat. Then carefully add the tuna patties and cook until they're deeply browned on both sides. And you want to make sure that they're heated through in the centers as well. So this will probably take somewhere around 3 to 5 minutes per side. Now feel free to adjust the temperature on your stove if the tuna patties are browning too quickly. Okay, the tuna patties are all done being cooked. You want to make sure to get them nicely browned on both sides so that you get a little bit of that crispy exterior, some of the caramelization happening for some really great flavor development. I'm serving them here with a little bit of tzatziki sauce. You can either make that at home or you can buy that at the store. Either way, it's a really great pairing with these tuna cakes. Really hope you have a chance to make these at home. Please enjoy, and thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.